Chinese cuisine has become popular in many parts of the world, and although often adapting to local palates, still remains a favorite social food experience. Often served in bite-sized pieces, using fresh ingredients and lightly spiced, it's no wonder the world can't get enough of the cultural flavors of China. A country that features various geographical regions from mountains to grassland, the food of China is very much influenced by location and local produce, resulting in a variety of dining styles and flavors.
China is a multicultural country, and even the food, they got all different kind of culture. The style, the taste, the spices, like northern, they're more spicy and more like oil to cover, to keep the food warm. So they are slightly a bit of oil in there because of weather there. And southern is slightly a little bit different. Mainly it's the opposite of the style. It's clear, less oil and less spices. And because of that, that's why the southern food can bring up more natural taste and less oil. And not all the food are spicy. And southern food is concentrate on the natural of the food. What it is, you bring it out and you get that taste straight away.
Originally from Hong Kong, XO sauce is a very versatile condiment that will bring out the Chinese flavor of most foods. Once made, it can be stored for some time and is an essential ingredient that all lovers of Chinese cuisine should have on hand.
XO sauce is quite a magic sauce. Naturally, it use some ingredients that can be expensive. It just can combine with any seafood, any meat, any vegetable dish, and it can be stored in the long term in the fridge. That's why it brings a very rich taste and all the texture, and they got so many different steps to make the XO sauce in the beginning, but afterward, you love it. Every dish you make, you want to add XO sauce in there, just a spoon, tablespoon, and it just brings out the flavor.
It will take a little time to make the perfect XO sauce, but it is well worth it. You'll need several ingredients, some of which may only be available from selected Asian grocers. These include Chinese pickle and dried shrimp. Dry scallops need to be soaked in hot water for at least half an hour. Garlic, red and brown onions, and bird's eye chilies are the other ingredients. Like so many great dishes, the first thing we need to do is chop some onions. First, remove the skin from a brown onion and then chop finely before placing in a bowl. Now grab a red onion and slice to a similar size as the first onion. Next, we need to chop some fresh garlic. About 2 peeled cloves will do. Now to add some heat to our recipe, finely chop about 3 small red bird's eye chilies and remove the stalks.
So the last thing I need to do is the dry scallop. The dry scallop I put in the hot water and then steam it for about half hours. After I've done that, the dry scallop will become well cooked and easy to fall apart, so it's ready to cook.
Once you've prepared your ingredients, you can begin to cook. Heat your wok to a moderate temperature and then scoop about a ladle of oil into the pan. Once the oil has heated up, place a handful of softened scallops and allow them to cook for about 2 minutes, stirring well all the time. Then, remove them from the oil and place them somewhere where they can drain. Grab a handful of Chinese pickle and add this to the oil. Stir this well and this time cook for 5 minutes before removing this from the oil and placing somewhere to drain. It is very important that you turn the heat down low now. To the oil, add your chopped red and brown onion along with a very generous sprinkling of dry shrimp. Stir the ingredients well. This part of the recipe will take a long time, but your patience will be rewarded as your resulting XO sauce will look and taste much better with time. After about half an hour, the ingredients should have cooked quite well and turned a dark golden colour. Make a well in the oil and then add some chopped garlic and allow to cook for about 1 minute. Now grab the dry scallop and Chinese pickle that we cooked before and add this to the wok along with all the ingredients. Mix well and finally add some chopped chilli. Your XO sauce can be stored in a bottle for some time and added to almost anything to inject a spicy taste of the Orient to your cooking. Traditionally, shallot cakes were a tasty and filling breakfast meal for peasants. They were cheap and easy to make and a great start to any working day.
Shallot cake originally is from China, and it's mainly it's a history pancake bring along to this generation. And it's easy to prepare, and for a parent it's a less variety of money to can afford it. In the old day, they don't have that much money to prepare the breakfast every day with their expenses. And shallot cake is a simply crunchy and soft inside and a strong texture. And the main thing is help them to fill up their stomach almost half of the day.
To make these traditional shallot cakes, all you need are a few very basic ingredients. To make the dough, you will need 500 grams of flour, 150 ml of boiling water, and 75 ml of ice water. Apart from a few pinches of salt and sugar, the only other essential ingredients are, of course, spring onion. Of course, shallots form the basis of this recipe, so the first thing we need to do is prepare some. Finally, slice your green onions right up to the leafy part and then put to one side for later. Take a large mixing bowl and pour in 500 grams of flour. Pour in a glass of hot water and give everything a good mix. Now we need to add a glass of ice water and then mix the flour and water really well until the water has completely been absorbed by the flour. Tip the contents of the bowl out onto your worktop and knead your dough together using your hands.
After we roll it about 20 minutes, it seems to be okay. What we need to do is we cut it to small pieces, like 20 pieces, and then we need to roll each pieces. And then after we roll it, we put some spring onion in.
Using a pastry cutter or knife, cut out as many sections as you can. Put these to one side as we need to roll them out one by one. Flour your workbench before rolling out each ball like so. Then, grab the shallots you prepared earlier and liberally sprinkle a small handful down the middle of the pastry. Add a good pinch each of sugar and salt. Now comes the tricky part. First, fold one side to the middle, then the other side, make sure it overlaps with the first fold. Twist it around and then bend one end to the middle before bringing the other end back in on itself. Okay, let's look at that again. Fold one side of the dough over to the middle, then fold the opposite side over and make sure that it overlaps the first fold. Then take one end and bend it to the center, like so. Do the same with the other end and then join the two ends. The final stage of preparing these tasty cakes takes place at the stove, so we will begin by deeply filling a wok with oil and heating to about 160 degrees. Carefully place each shallot cake into the wok and let them fry in the oil. The cakes should roughly take about 1.5 minutes on each side. You can tell that the underside is ready as the cakes will begin to float. At this point, turn them and let them cook until both sides are light golden brown. Finally, remove them from the oil and place them somewhere that the excess oil can drain. Your shallot cakes are now ready to serve. These delicious cakes are best eaten on their own with a little soy sauce for dipping and a pot of Chinese tea. A simple yet satisfying snack that is steeped in Chinese tradition and still tastes as good as ever. Coming up on Cultural Flavours, a unique and amazing eggplant treat that will have you coming back for more. Salt and pepper dishes are commonly found on the menus of most Chinese restaurants. Yet many Chinese chefs, eager to push the boundaries of their own cultural flavours, have begun to experiment with the core ingredient of this traditional dish.
Well, when I present this eggplant to my restaurant, it's a bit harder at the beginning. We try again and again and again, millions of times. Some come up very great but cannot last longer crunchy, and with the combined with other vegetable, it's a choice of a vegetable is very important. But finally we got lucky, we got the final touch with the crunchy pastry. But after we invented and it will bring out, most of the customer will love it because it's a history now. From now on, it's a history for salt and pepper eggplant. It's easy to prepare and it's easy to accept it, and they will get addicted to it because it combined with the crunchy pastry and the onion, spring onion, capsicum. It's a nice combination.
To prepare this tasty salt and pepper dish, you'll need half a red onion and a few spring onions. To add a peppery taste and some heat, you should have a red capsicum and 2 small red chilies. For ease, we've sliced some pre-made pastry, which we will fry later. Of course, you'll need 1 large eggplant. To create the batter, which we shall coat our eggplant with, we will use just 200 grams of flour, a little baking powder, 1 egg and a little water.